Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Eve it's Christmas Eve morning where I am in Boulder, Colorado, and Christmas Eve in other places in Europe and other parts of the world. And maybe even Christmas morning in Australia. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm here. I'm just really enjoying a lot of quiet. Usually at Christmas, I am in California with my family doing a big Christmas thing, which is always really fun. Hey, Sasha, how are you? But this year we're doing something different, and I'm not doing much for Christmas this year. It's been an amazing year. I'm just like enjoying the quiet and reflecting on, what I've created this year, what I've chosen this year, what I'm asking for 2022. And it's such a good time for that. And like, you might be around a lot of people, you might not be around a lot of people. But what if we could take this time to enjoy the silence of the season? Even if there's a lot of people around you, like you can still create that for yourself and take some time to have gratitude for you. This time of year it can be really challenging for a lot of people. It can be, it can be really fun. It can be really joyful. It can be all of it, the gamut of emotions and experiences and energies. And one of the things that has helped me so much is to acknowledge how aware I am. We are all so incredibly aware of everybody around us, even when you're alone, like even me here alone in my house this morning, it's like I'm aware of my neighbors, I'm aware of people across the globe, I'm aware of my family, so we have these levels of awareness that we don't realize that we have. And especially at this time of year when there's like a heightened sense of like emotion and different energies and lots of thoughts and lots of things going through our minds and our worlds, it can really be, if you don't recognize that it's a lot of what goes on in your inner world is your awareness, it's not actually necessarily yours. And we have this amazing tool in Access Consciousness called Who Does This Belong To? You can also ask the question, is this mine? And what that tool is about is really getting to acknowledge that you are very aware. We are always more aware than we realize. And this is, so often we think that what we're aware of is ours. We think that it belongs to us. So you might be perceiving the sadness of somebody else, or the grief, or the disappointment, or the angst, or the anxiety, or the depression, and you're perceiving it, and you might think that it's yours, that it's your sadness, your depression, your whatever. And so often it's not. And when you have that kind of awareness, you also have these levels of space that you actually be, that you, like, again, like this isn't something that we grow up with, like people talking to us about, but we a lot of us that are interested in these types of conversations actually we have so much space in our world. And it's one of those things that people actually get kind of uncomfortable with, because you, as a very spacious being, somebody who doesn't have inherently a lot of points of view, somebody who likes to have ease, joy, and glory, that's not a super popular thing in the world. It's way more, you make sense to people more if you do trauma and drama, upset and intrigue, if you're like bought into immovable, unchangeable, fixed, impossible reality. And when you recognize that that's not actually true for you. What's true for you? Well, for a lot of us, I won't tell you what's true for you, but what's true for me and a lot of people that I work with is way more this sense of space that doesn't have any words. It's energetic. It's energy, space, and consciousness, basically. And that's something that's not valued in the world. And so this is where it's like getting present with ourselves is, it's such a gift. And to have ease, joy, and glory this time of year, like we talk about this a lot. And the mantra of Access Consciousness is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And to have that this time of the year especially is, it requires a willingness to be really different. This year, I have made a lot of choices from that, like for ease, joy, and glory. Haven't really talked about this much, but haven't talked about it like on Facebook. But one of the things that we did this year in October was sent my youngest son to a wilderness therapy program. And this was kind of a long time coming. He was 13 at the time, and he was having a lot of problems, like with school and socially, and really wasn't motivated, wasn't wanting to do very much, spending all of his time in his room on his devices, doing a lot of arguing and resisting and lying and stealing and drugs and stuff like that. And I just knew that this amazing, brilliant being that my son is, I knew that if we didn't do something, he was going to go in a very, very bad direction that I did not want him to go in. And I knew it would basically destroy his life. And so I got really present with the situation and with him and with me and with all of it, and was like, we need to do something big here. I need to choose something that I've never chosen before. And it was also like this choice for me of, I am not willing to live with this. Like, I'm not willing to live with a child who's unkind to me, who's, borderline, like just sort of energetically abusive, invalidating and, ignored me and all these kinds of things. And we think as parents that we need to put up with whatever shit our kids deal out to us, but that's really one of the ways to really set your kids up for a very dismal future if you allow them to give you a lot of shit, because then they think they can do that with the rest of the world, and they think that's how they navigate reality. And I just got to a point where I was like, it was so consuming for me to have this incredible creature, my child that I love, that I just see as quite a very brilliant being, be this unkind to me and to others and to himself. And so it was this choice for me where I went, okay, I'm doing something different here. I am going to have something different. And whatever that looks like, he can choose whatever he's going to choose with this, but I'm choosing something different for me, and I'm choosing something different for him. And we, in a very kind of relatively quick turn of events, we sent him to a wilderness therapy program for 3 months. And he didn't know he was going, and it was a surprise, and it was not the easiest thing I've ever done. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done as a parent. And I had no idea I was going to talk about this when I started this video, but apparently I am going to. I am. And it was amazing because when he got there, we didn't have any contact with him for the first, I think we could write him letters. So for the first week that he was there, we didn't have any contact with him. And then very little contact over the past 3 months. And really just writing letters once a week, one letter there, and then he could write us a letter back. And then we've had 2 phone calls, and we went out and we did like a family therapy weekend where we saw him for 2 days. So that's the sum total of the contact that I've had with my child for the past 3 months, since October 14th, I think was the day that he left. But as soon as he got there, I was so immensely relieved and had this sense of like creativity and joy restored in my life. And I knew he was in a great place, and we got lucky. And this is a testament to him and who he is. He actually really has been enjoying being there. It's been hard, and he's had to do a lot of work and all of that. He's been living outdoors, literally has not been inside of a building, since he left this house 3 months ago. He's been living under tarps and backpacking, and it's cold and it's snowing, and somehow he's been totally enjoying it, unplugged from the rest of the world, in nature with other boys, having these incredible, vulnerable conversations about, like what he's discovering about himself, and getting real, getting real with himself, getting real with other people, getting real with his family about who he is and what's true for him and what he would like to have with his life. And it's been such a gift to him, to me, to my whole family. And it's one of those ways that I have created so much ease, joy, and glory in my life and in my family's life in a way that doesn't look at all like you would think. Like, I never thought I would be doing this. I was looking at pictures the other day of him as a baby thinking, wow, I had no idea when this kid was this cute little baby, that I would be doing this. And next week, on Monday, we're going to pick him up. He's graduating, and we are going to be taking him to a boarding school. So he's going to be going to a therapeutic boarding school for 9 months at least. And so basically, he's gone for basically a year. And he's 14. He just turned 14 a month ago. And it's been a really monumental part of my 2021, because what I was doing really was not working for me. It wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for him either. And it wasn't working really for anybody. And he was going to go in this direction of really destroying his life. And this kid is a brilliant being who actually has so much to contribute to the world, and could really create a phenomenal life for himself. And it's amazing when we make these choices for our children, but also for us. Like, so much of it came from my demand of, whatever this kid is going to choose is kind of beyond my control. Now I can put him in circumstances where he's sort of forced to choose in a different way. And I did that, and it's been amazing. But for me, it was like, I'm not willing to live with this level of stress and turmoil and angst and anxiety and, problematicness or problem, like this many problems, I'm just not willing to live like that anymore. And I was never really sad that he was gone. I've missed him, but I'm so happy that he's doing something that is so good for him, and he's really becoming him. And that has always trumped my sadness. I've never really had sadness about it. It's been really joyful for me and such a relief for me. And, I've talked to other parents, and they miss their kids, and they're sad and they're worried. And I've never had that. It's been a sense of relief and ease and space in my life. Because I know that my child is in like the best place that he can be. And that has created so much ease for me. And so, I guess this came up because at some point I probably knew I was going to share this more publicly, but also I'm looking back on 2021, and it's been such an incredible year. And it's been a year where I have chosen me. I've chosen me, and I've chosen for me in ways that I was never willing to before. And so often we think that when we choose us and we choose for us, that it's a selfish thing, but it's created this massive ripple effect. My son is going to have a completely different life. Both of my kids are going to have a completely different life from this. So many people in my world have changed. It's created a massive ripple effect in the world and in my world. And it really came because I started asking for all of my choices to change the world. I started asking for all of my choices to change the world, and also to be that which, to be something that, to be like an energy in a space that no matter what my choices are, small, however big or small, that they change the world. Because I got to this point where I realized that what I was being and what I was choosing was so small. It was way too small for me. And it was time for something really different for me. And I made that request, I made that demand, I made that ask. I started to opened myself up and went, universe, I don't care what this looks like. I would like for every choice that I make to be a world-changing choice. And the first big, thing that came up was this thing with my son. And I've rearranged my whole life and my business and so many things because of it. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for me that I chose that, and the ripple effect that it's created and then it continues to create. Do not underestimate the value and the power of standing for you and with you. Do not underestimate the power of asking for, demanding, choosing, and creating a completely different reality. You are the only, you can only do that for you, with you, and you can ask for that to change the world, and let it go and let the universe show you, and be willing to follow what's next and what comes from there. And I say this at, as we have, about one more week of 2021, we're starting a new year. Doesn't have to be significant, but we can also make it this time where we sort of look and go, okay, well, what has worked and what hasn't worked and what's going to work moving forward, and what would I actually like to create as my life and my future. If there was ever a time on planet Earth to really get engaged and get active and get tenacious about the creation of a different future, now's the time. It's obvious to everybody in the world right now. We before we could sort of skate by with what was, we can't anymore. That's not working. It's not going to work. It's time to stand up, make a demand to have the life, the living, the reality, the world, the future that we really know is possible, and to demand it, to choose it. And you may not know what that looks like, and that's okay. You don't ever have to know how. It's about asking and truly following the breadcrumbs that the universe gives you in the form of just things that pop up in your everyday. And there's a whole world of access consciousness tools that give you way more of, kind of pragmatic tools that you can use in this conversation to actually, kind of function in a different way. But your desires are so important, like your true desires as a being. They're so important and such an indicator of the future that you can create. You are the only one that can create the future that you can create. And it starts with you. It starts with what you desire, what's true for you, what you would like your life to be. And that's your compass, is the ease and the joy and the glory of your life. And as you choose that, you change the world in ways that you can't even imagine. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. So I invite you to, maybe take some time and reflect upon what this year has been like for you. What kind of space you could take right now during the holidays to just have some time with you, to be present, to reflect, and then also to, move forward and look at truly what would you like your future to be? What do you know that you could choose? What have you been desiring to choose that you haven't yet chosen? That if you did, would change everything. And it's amazing how what I've changed with my son and my family has changed my business, my whole life, all of my relationships. Like, it's changed everything. We never know what's going to create the change that we've been asking for or how it's going to show up. We just got to be present with it and be willing to go for it when it presents itself. And 2022 is the year, I would say, to go for it with everything that presents itself and everything that we would like to ask for. The earth requires that of us. Consciousness requires that of us. If we're going to have a different world and a different future, that's required. So let's do it. Let's go. Merry, Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a beautiful holiday season. Remember you. Don't forget about you. And I'll see you around. Take care.